Okay, so hi everybody. Glad that you've all joined me. I can see that quite a lot of you are on mute, so that's fine. If you're not on mute, if you end up with a noisy background, then just pop yourself on mute, and we shall go from there. So, what was my thoughts about tonight's sort of spot of training, really? And it was all about I want to get more of your partying, and I want to get more of you getting those first parties in and then going forward from there and really expanding outwards. That was kind of my first thought. Tonight's Zoom is not about how to do the party, what to do. I've just asked one of the managers, and I think that Amanda has already bumped. I have done a little live a little while ago of literally me and a starter kit sitting on the lounge carpet, and this is how you can start off with a party. And obviously we've shared on the team page some party ideas, and obviously if you managed to get to the team training last week, we had the lovely Emily Collins, one of our nice, really quiet managers, going through a party demo with you all. So I didn't want to revisit that tonight, because I think like we've got some stuff out there for that. But what I wanted you to think about, first of all, as we're now talking really going into November and December. So we've come through October, and I always think October's that funny month where years ago it was always one of our absolute massive Christmas months. But as the years have rolled on, the last 3 or 4 years, the Christmas sales in October have almost not quite come to fruition. I think the stores, like shops in general now, tend to push Halloween so much more that the Christmas stuff doesn't start to arrive until after this weekend. So I think the way people shop has changed quite a lot in the 20 years or so that I've been doing this. So that means that we've got November and December as our kind of peak massive selling months of the year. And I know for a fact the girls that party, overall, you go into that house, you do it, you come out of that house, and you're between 50, 100, 150 pounds better off. I'm not dismissing online sales at all, and we have got some fantastic online sellers that are bringing in anything between 800 and 2,000 pounds personal sales a month from their online selling activity. So I'm certainly not dismissing that. And I think as well, those of you that do a bit of both, you're getting the best of both worlds. But I just know that we've got a lot of people out there that for whatever reason didn't join and book a party next week. And now I think it's become a little bit of an elephant in the room. For some of you, it's like, yeah, I am going to. Yeah, I'd like to. I could. And while we're kind of going, yeah, I'd like to, I'd like to, another week goes by and another 10 days goes by, and it's now 3 weeks and it's another month, and we still haven't actually just got on and done it. So I just really want you to, first of all, think as we've still got a few days of October left to sort out, but think about November. How much do you want to earn in November from your parties? You know, think about, first of all, what do you want this money to buy? So is it now your Christmas presents for your family? Is it just more life things? Are we trying to sort out some credit card bills? And actually, if I earn £500 in November, then that would be a chunk towards a credit card bill. So is it for Christmas treats? Is it for starting to think about a summer holiday or a Christmas break? Is it just for new shoes for yourself or new clothes? Whatever it is, think about your goal first of all, because sometimes when you've got a goal, it just keeps you on the track a little bit more. So first things to do is to work out what you want in November and December income wise. Then we need to just like have a little like chat about these parties. Now I call them parties because I'm a dinosaur. and because it's just an easier word to say. But I'm totally accepting now that the word party is not terribly fashionable in some circles. So think of what words would work for you, your friends, your family, the people that you're going to tackle once we get off this training tonight. Is it girls' night in? Is it selling the seeds to a group of mums that actually, for me to bring my kit and some products and some smells to your house on a Friday night, where you've got 5 or 6 mums together, the children are all at home in bed, and you as mums can sit down and do your Christmas shopping without the buggy, without someone needing a wee every 10 minutes. You know, think about that. You might now be thinking, oh, actually, I can think of somebody that's the words I could use for her. So write that down. Then think about the groups of girls where actually they haven't got any kids. They'd actually, it'd work with kids or no kids. They want to let their hair down on a Friday night. Probably they have got kids. They want to let their hair down on a Friday night. They all want to bring a bottle of wine round to someone's house. They would love to go out, but actually going out is quite expensive. So if they bring a bottle of wine round, then actually it's a cheaper way of going out. And then they can try the products. It might be more shopping for themselves. Because often we do find there's a great sort of fallacy fairy tale idea at Christmas that all of our parties, we sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of Christmas gifts. And I've found over all the years I've done it, we sell very little Christmas gifts. You get a load of women, you show them a pill, you show them the skin reviver, you show them the chamomile butter, you show them your favourite flavoured yoghurt, you show them a bit of mascara or whatever it is. And actually that £30, £40 shopping list is all about them. That's when actually then the customer specials often click in, because that becomes a Christmas present. I've lost them in the catalogue. That's when the customer special often becomes, oh, well, I could buy that as a good Christmas present for somebody else. Because actually this £30, £40 is just all the stuff that I'm buying for myself. So think about whether, you know, enticing someone with a bottle of wine, that might attract somebody. Thinking about a box of Maltesers, chocolate, that might be somebody else that will be more swayed by that and not the alcohol. Think about groups of ladies that you could offer a pampering session to, that we're all going to do a hand scrub or a hand massage, or I'm going to offer the hostess a facial or a little mini makeover. Or you could, we don't often do feet parties in the run up to Christmas because it's more of a summer thing, but again, maybe a foot party. They might have already seen you at something. So this week, they're all like, oh, the faces. The feet parties, if you don't have to touch the feet, you can just pass out the products and they all do their own feet. But normally when they've soaked their feet for 20 minutes, actually their feet are fine. I would only do the hostess's feet because that's part of her treat for having me there. But again, if a foot party will get 10 women in a room, you're going to do a foot party. So now I've pushed you from doing no parties at all to doing feet. I know. So maybe we won't do feet. Just do hand scrubs. That's fine. So think about, as I say, your audience and what words will work for them. I use the word party in all the training because it's far easier and quicker than saying all the other words around. So the thing about also the parties, it's not only about the income you're going to earn. There's so much more to the party environment. And people often ask me about my selling group and why is my selling group so interactive? Well, it's not always interactive, but I do manage to sell quite a lot through my selling group. Why is that? And that is really mostly because I have met nearly everybody. Well, you know, to a degree, I've met everybody in my selling group, or those people that are in my selling group have added their friends. Because every time you go to a party and you stand in front of 10, 12 women and you say, oh, ladies, you're going to want to be in my special group. It's where I play all my games. You see all my special offers. I've always got a bargain. If you all get your phones out now and you look for da-di-da-di-da-di-da, and if you just are now, are you in the group? Yeah, I'll add you all in a minute. 10 more people in your group. And they're people that you've got a connection with. They're people that by the end of the evening, they've got that rapport with you, because then they're much more likely to go and say to their friends, oh, can you want to be in Julie's group? You know, I met Julie. She's really good, funny, nice, whatever. You know, this is the group you want to be in for Body Shop. And that'll happen so much more when you've had those 10 people in front of you. You're just making the connections. What else is that party going to give you? It's going to give you the opportunity, and we're going to cover it in a bit, about booking more parties from that party. And in the olden days, we had a phrase, less than 2 just won't do. And you went to every single party with a firm belief that you were going to get 2 more dated bookings into your diary. And again, going right back to the start of my journey, after every party, I used to have to tell my upline manager all about my party, how many guests, how many orders, how many bookings, and some other stuff. And if there wasn't 2 bookings, she would say, right, okay, Julie, well, what you've got now is you've got 48 hours to go and replace that with another booking. So give me a ring back in 48 hours with your second booking or your 2 new bookings. And then I used to have to go away and find some more bookings. So I got in the habit really quickly of getting my bookings sorted out at my parties. But if every time you go to that party with that less than 2 just won't do, you've got, your business is starting to build. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you've replaced the party you've just done and you've booked 1 more in. And that's how it starts to fan out. And I do think when you start to go to a party with that, I need 2 bookings, I need 2 bookings, you just focus on it a lot more. But as I say, I'm going to give you a few ideas about that in a minute, because then you're not so reliant all the time on finding new people. It's coming organically. You're also, when you're meeting these 10 to 12 people on average at a party, you've got 10 to 12 recruiting opportunities. I know lots of you are team building, you're wanting to build and join our team and earn the manager commission. And obviously standing in front of people night after night, that's where you're going to be able to pick out your next recruit. You're going to be able to tell a little bit about your story. You're going to say you're looking to find people for your team, and people always like to identify with the person they're joining. If you do a party with somebody for a couple of hours, they want to join your team because they've got this connection with you already. So you've got that. You've also got, if you're not looking to build a team, you've got the free money. You've got the monthly recruiting bonus that is there for everybody, whether you're team building or not. And obviously that can be £20 in a month, it can be £50, it can be 90, 140, 190, 240, I can't remember the rest, but it just keeps going up depending on your recruits. And say you're not compelled to promote out as a team leader, but to be honest, if you got 7 in there, you'd be a bit daft. But we'll have that conversation later. But think about, going to that party and thinking, I'm going to pick up my free money. And sometimes for those of you that are consultants, you are a bit protective over your patch, and I've been there. I've been through the career plan from bottom to top and up and round in the middle for quite a long time. You can be quite protective. You can go to a party and there might be a lady that's talking about joining, and you're like, she'll nick all my customers. Oh no, I'm not having her. She's not joining because I'm not having her selling to all my customers. If you don't speak to her tonight and she goes and phones up head office in the morning, she will probably almost definitely not end up under you. Because if she doesn't quite live in our area, the lead might get sent to a completely different regional manager. If she comes through to me, I just dish them out. And the chances of you picking up that person who happened to be at a party last night as a consultant are probably about 1 in a million. So, get her on your team, get her in under you and earn the monthly recruiting bonus, because if she wants to join, she will join and she'll find another way. And you'll be pig sick when you turn up at training next month and you end up sitting next to her and she's joined someone else's team. And that happens quite a lot. So think about that as well. So we've talked all about the things that this party is going to give you, but do you know what else it's going to really give you? It's going to give you self-confidence. And so many of our ladies, all the way through all the journey I've been on with Body Shop, suffer from self-confidence issues, just losing yourself sometimes. If you've become, I was going to say if you become a wife, you don't tend to, I suppose, lose yourself so much if you become a wife. But sometimes when you become a mother, you can lose yourself in that whole world of kids and nappies and Peppa Pig and stuff. And actually, what you can do when you do parties is your confidence starts to come. At the end of the evening, people tend to say things like, I had a lovely night. You were really good. You were really funny. I take that as a compliment. I'm not sure it is, but hey ho. But and that can only help to build your self-esteem and your self-confidence. As anybody that knows me knows, I'm not a touchy-feely person at all. But people have kissed me at the end of parties. Sometimes they've given me a hug and a kiss and said, "Oh, I've had a lovely night." But again, it's just lovely to get back in the car and you just drive home with a bit of a like, check me out, I'm a bit of a superstar. And when that happens over and over and over, and you come back and you're like, yeah, great party, yeah, crack that. That just helps to build you as a person, and that's just as important as the income. So there's so much more to kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. And we touched on it a little bit at the team meeting last week. I think it's really, really usual to be nervous and a bit scared and a bit Tommy when you go out to do a party. I don't know anybody that just like da-da! Everybody's got those like bit rolling around, and that's really nervous. And I think that's part of your makeup. That's part of just being a human. So there's nothing wrong in booking a party in and then being a little bit, that's all right, okay? At the end of the day, you're going to go to someone's house, sit on their floor and show them some Body Shop products. That's all you're going to do, all right? And if you do a facial and you put something in the wrong order, or you did a makeover and it didn't go quite right, it's only stuff, all right? No one's going to die, all right? It'll all be all right, and it doesn't matter. I always think with a makeover, get the foundation on first, or the base. Whatever else you put on, don't really matter what order it's in. No one really knows that we tend to train in a set order. I'm rubbish at product knowledge. 20 years in, still rubbish. And I just say to people might ask me something, I'll go, I don't know. Should we have a look in the catalogue? Or can anyone find it in the catalogue and tell me what it says about such and such? I mean, and if I can get away with it, absolutely all of you can. I know that you can. And people just laugh. I think people book me just to see what muck-ups I make this week. I don't think they certainly don't book me for my product knowledge or my technical knowledge or anything like that. But, we just have fun at a party. And I think it's your personality that carries you through. You do not need to be a technical expert, believe me, because I'm certainly not. So we need to think about your contact list. Now, you can go back to Be Inspired, new consultant training. And again, if you've not been through that recently, then I'd say to you, it's worth having another little butcher's through it. It might be when you joined that there's so much to take on. I've been added to groups and I've done this and I'm doing that and I've done that. Yeah, I looked at the training, but maybe it's now time to go back to that training again. You might be brand new, so this might be your first look at the new consultant training. But if we're going to get some people to book these parties, then we're going to need some people to ask. And this is just literally a sit down pen and piece of paper job. But the thing you need to do is pick up the pen and find the piece of paper, because that's often where the stumbling block happens, that we have this lovely Zoom and you get all keen and then you're going to leave here in about, 20 minutes time. And then you're going to go and put, I don't watch soaps, but you'll put whatever soap is on tonight and then something will happen and then it's tomorrow. So while you're watching, whatever you're doing in the next part of your evening tonight, it's pen and paper. And with a contact list, you start with your family. And I know nowadays we've got all sorts of like added extras in families and different like fragments. But we start with grandma, and we look at whether there's you and whether there's a partner or somebody or an ex-husband you still talk to or somebody else like that. Start with grandma. Then you start with mum, sisters, brothers who have got wives, partners or girlfriends. You start with your aunties, cousins, stepchildren, step families, and any other combination. And you do it for your side of the family, and you do it for his side of the family or your partner's side of the family. And it might be that you've got cousins on there. I've got a cousin that I speak to on Facebook sometimes. I haven't seen her in real life for a couple of years. And when I was actually wanting bookings a couple of years ago, you know, cousin Claire, you know, she's a grown up. She only lives about half an hour up the road. Our lives just don't cross. But she was somebody that I could approach for a party. Think about, then go on to friends. And this is where you start. It depends now on your life. So if you work in another job, who do you work alongside? So you might have friends at work. You might also have people at work that you're not necessarily friendly with, but you'll speak to them. These people that you're going to ask to book parties, they're not all going to be in this close, like, knit thing. It might be that there's a lady on reception that you know, every morning, and that's all you speak to her about. But she is a human being. She could book a party, so we can write her down. You're going to think about any connections that you've got if you've got children. So it might be that you've got sort of slightly older children where kids might come and play at your house, and then the mum turns up to collect. Think about, you know, little Joey's mum, Sally's mum, whatever. Think about those children's mums. If your children are a bit younger, think about who you stand with at the school gates. Think about who you go to a toddler group with. And again, it might be you go to a toddler group and sit with these 2 women, but actually there's another 18 women in the room. So there's 18 opportunities there. Play school, nursery schools, whatever. If you're always on the doorstep. When my kids were at nursery school, we had a 6 o'clock pick-up. So at 6 o'clock, there was always 3 or 4 mums on the doorstep, all waiting at that time of night. And again, over the course of the weeks, we were on chatting terms. I used to go to hundreds of kids' birthday parties. And there's always mums there, because again, up until a certain age, the mum stays. So think about whether that fits your sort of life. Think about things your kids do, whether they go swimming and you have to sit on the side once a week and be bored for half an hour. And then get them dry and they're all miserable and horrible. Think about whether they go dancing, cubs, scouts, brownies, rainbows, whatever. Think about everything your kids do in their life and what adults you come across there. If they're at a nursery school, it might be that you're on speaking terms with their nursery leaders, the ones that look after your kids. I've definitely had parties before with nursery people. My daughter, as most of you know, a lot of you know, Hannah's 22, but she's autistic. So she's in daycare. So there's lots and lots of adults who work in her 2 different daycare providers. So again, definitely I've had kit boxes there. I've done parties for both sets. I've now partied on a fragment that's gone out of a group, and I've had a recruit out of one. So again, but it's just thinking about all of those connections. Then think about your partner. If you have a partner, think about the friends and connections that they might have. Do they play darts, go to football? Where do they work? And often a lot of girls will say, oh, but my other half just works with a load of blokes. But some of those blokes will have wives, partners or girlfriends. And it might be that your bloke would go to work tomorrow and say, right, I'm on a mission. Her indoors has said I won't get any dinner tonight unless I go home with 2 phone numbers. So to his 2 best mates, right, what's your other half called? What's her phone number? I'm going to take that home to my missus and she's going to phone up and see if she'd like to book a body shop party. So it can go out that way. My brother works for an agricultural engineers, and again, on the desk, there's a female receptionist. So I've managed to collar her at some point over the years. So it's just thinking about your life and your contacts. And nowadays, sometimes we don't talk to our neighbours very much. But again, if you're on talking, if you talk to your neighbours, you might go to the garage each week and fill up with petrol, and you might, you know, be talking to the same ladies, in the same person. You might go to gym classes, and you might do other things like that in a healthy way. I can't think of any healthy things to do, but you might do some healthy things like go to, I don't know, gyms, classes, I don't know. Think about your lives. I'm sure they're far more interesting than mine. But it is just literally having that piece of paper and all her. Start your list properly tonight, but then tomorrow morning you'll walk past that list again and go, oh, I've just thought about so. Now, not all of these people are going to say yes to you. In fact, only, you know, you're looking now, I'd love you to get four dated in. So actually, if you've made a list, often there's about 12 or 14 people on people's first list. It's now just thinking, right, what am I going to do? I've made the list. Each one of those people could be worth between £50 and £100 to me. So if I've got 10 on the list, that could be £1,000. Or if you just leave the list sitting on the worktop, it'll be nothing at all. So if I really want that £1,000, I'm going to have to talk to these people. So this is where, let's just give me a little reminder on time. This is where, in the olden days, we would pick up the phone because we didn't have anything else. The internet hadn't been invented. So we would phone somebody and we would say, hi, I'm booking in some Body Shop parties now. November's going to be our best-selling month of the year, and December, I've got a couple of dates left next week. I've got the 5th or the 6th. I'd love you to book in and have a girls' night at home, basically. And I just explain it all to them if they've never done anything like it before. Basically, I just bring all the products round. We'll just have a nice girls' night in. You invite all your friends. And as a thank you for you inviting me, you are going to get some host rewards. And it's at the back of the catalogue for anybody that's just joined us or isn't completely aware. I am going to ask one of the managers to either do a new clip on hostess coaching, which is the next bit, or we'll bump up one of the older videos that we've got on there. But you're just literally asking girls to invite their girlfriends round. And the thing to do is to get it dated. You then want to be saying, right, well, I've got next Thursday or Friday. Which is best for you, the 5th or the 6th? And pop it in your diary. I'm going to sort out your hostess pack. And as I say, we've got some training on hostess packs, but basically you're now going to want to give her catalogues, order forms, invitations, and a pamper grid. These are in the files on our team page. These are brilliant for adding to party packs. This one, there's all sorts of variations. This one says, sell your squares for £2 each at the party. The hostess receives half to spend in the catalogue and a guest gets the other half. I have found that when the hostess gets half of it to spend, she's much more likely to get it filled in. Because this could be another £25 spend for her. And then there'll be a £25 winner. Not everybody does the grids, but I reckon my parties, hostesses, probably about 70–75% do the grids. That's another £50 order for you on the night. So that's a third of the way to her first level of host shopping. So they're the kind of things you want to put in a host pack. But again, we'll do some special separate on that because I want to get on to the next bit. And then we're going to do that party. Again, you're going to go and watch my video again on that if you need a bit of a refresh. And then at the party, you want 2 more bookings. So when I'm booking my hostess in and I'm giving her my host pack, I always say to her, at your party, if we get 2 bookings, there will be an extra little gift for you. Is there anybody that you know that might book a party? And sometimes she'll say, oh, yes, blah, 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 blah. Always likes a party. She had a Sensi party a couple of months ago. So I jot her name down in my diary so that at the night of the party, I'm looking out for her. She might be one of my next party bookings. If you get to the party and you look in your diary and you see that Mary might be your next booking, You can say to your host, oh, I know that Mary might have been one of your bookings. Is she coming tonight? And then she says, oh no, Mary can't make it. Oh, well, if we get Mary to book tonight, could we get her on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever? If we get her dated in tonight, I'll count that as one of your new bookings, and that will go towards your prize. But if you don't ask her at host coaching, you don't even know that Mary exists, so that when Mary doesn't turn up, it's all gone because you didn't even know about her. So it's always worth speaking to the host about it. The hostess is often the best person to help you get those extra bookings in, because she's more likely to turn the neck. I was going to turn the necks of her friends, but probably not. Twist her arm is the phrase I was thinking of, not turn her neck. That'd be a bit wrong. So, yes, I say, got lost train of thought now. Yeah, your host is the person that will often twist her friends' arms and get them to book. But there are things that you can do to help you. Again, on Be Inspired, this one is the 4-week booking sheet. And this is your diary for the next 4 weeks. So we would suggest that on the start of a week, you print off a new one of these, and you first of all fill it up down here with all the things that you've already got going on in your life. So this might be, you've got a party, so you can put here booked. You might be going out, booked, and it will leave the gaps. And this is when you've got availability to party. So I would then highlight those. I'm not fancy or whatever. I get a highlighter pen and just highlight across. They're my spaces. And down here, I write the dates. So it's the next 4 weeks. So if you're going out to party tonight, you would start this from tomorrow night, because you might have a space on Friday. And if you've gone out tonight and it's Monday, if you take some hostess packs with you, there is nothing to stop you getting a party booking for this Friday, because that woman can take the party pack home tonight. She can go to the school gates tomorrow. She can go to work, hand out the invitations, collect up the orders, and she can have a party on Friday night. Again, sometimes we prejudge and think, oh, that's too soon. But again, let her choose when too soon is. So always start it from the night you're going out and run it forward 4 weeks. So that would roughly be now like the 4 weeks of November. And that's when you really want to focus. You're always wanting to cuddle your bookings in. You want to closer. Because if you go out on Friday, you can get 2 more bookings into November. And eventually you'll be full for November, and your diary will start to show the weeks of December. And as you go out in December, it will start to show the weeks free in January. And that's how it starts to roll on. Because sometimes you're going to speak to these people on the phone, and they're going to book in for you, and they'll go, yeah, I'll have the 29th of November. And it's right at the end. And actually, you'd much rather have that party on the 5th or the 6th. So when you're at a party, you can use your 4-week booking sheet. You can also use lots of little enticements. So you could colour your 4-week booking sheet in and say that if you book in the red week, you could open, not a red week actually, if you book in a pink week, you could open the pink envelope. And then in the next week, it might be colour coded purple. So you could open the purple envelope, the following week green. And in here, there would just be a piece of paper that says, you have won. And it'll be a little incentive that you've got at home. If you haven't got anything because you've just started, you've won a box of Maltesers, which I will bring to my party on the night. You've won a bath bomb, or whatever, anything you've got. If you're going to buy other things, don't buy other smellies. Just make sure they're Body Shop, or like things like little mini bottles of wine and 99p in the cheapy shops. So it can be something like that, but that might be the enticement. Sometimes when you just colour this booking sheet in colours for a bottle of little 99p wine, it makes all the difference. People love to feel there's a bit of a twist to it. There's a bit of a gadget. As well, when you're asking at a party, once you've done your initial, and I'm hoping tonight that 2 ladies are booked. This will go off in a minute. When it does, I'm not being rude. It's saying it's in less than a minute. Then you just need to ask everybody to book a party. And I'm going to get one of the managers again this week to refresh on how we ask everybody to book a party. and how we just say, thank you ever so much for placing your order tonight, and can I interest you in booking a party of your own? And if there were 10 people in the room, on average, 2 people will say yes. And that is the stats. You know, over and over again, ask 10, 2 will say yes, which means you're going to get 8 no's, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Trouble is, you often get your 3rd no, and you're like, and then you bottle it and you don't ask anybody else, but actually number 4 might have been the person that booked. Okay, so I've actually run right out of time.